Hey there. I was contemplating on what to share with you today, and I thought I would go to one of the um, earliest tools that I like to introduce to clients. Um, Oftentimes, we have this idea of, you go to therapy, you talk about something stressful or difficult that's happening, and then you leave feeling better. But often what I see is that people come into therapy not necessarily even knowing what they're feeling. So, people can talk about generalities like feeling stressed or feeling overwhelmed. But oftentimes people are not even in touch with that level of emotion. So what we tend to hear a lot of the time initially in session is, you know, I feel and then it's a thought. So I feel like the world is against me, or I feel like I am never going to get through this, or I feel like um, the world is crashing down around me and there's nothing I can do. So, one of the first things that can help in terms of identifying emotion or feeling is recognizing when we are saying a sentence like I feel like, and then describing an analogy or a metaphor or a situation, we're actually not in touch with the emotional aspect of ourselves, but rather talking around it. So when we are coming from that place, we're actually talking about how we're thinking about the thing, not how we're feeling about the thing. So always important first and foremost to differentiate between our thoughts and our feelings because they are different. And oftentimes, especially kind of in our kind of Western society, is we kind of take that interchangeably without questioning it a lot of the time. So to differentiate between our thoughts and our feelings is a really helpful kind of first step. I'm going to share my screen here to introduce you to what is called the feeling wheel. There are many of these different formats, but this is the one that I tend to use as it has, just a huge variety of words that sometimes help to pin down exactly what emotion or what feeling we might actually be experiencing. So if you don't have a huge feeling vocabulary, you may be able to identify or recognize when you're at an extreme end of an emotion, or even in just the most basic of the central ones here of bad or fearful, angry, disgusted, sad, happy, surprised. But as we get more and more specific, we can start to kind of grow our feelings vocabulary, our emotion vocabulary, but we can also start to sink deeper and deeper into exactly what's going on inside, which can help to I guess just deepen that level of validation that sometimes we're looking for. Sometimes, angry doesn't quite hit it. Or happy, it sounds pretty general. So it's not so specific to our situation that kind of, it hits the mark on a broad stroke, but it doesn't necessarily sink into that's it. That's what I'm feeling right now. So I encourage you to to find a feeling wheel that works for you and to print it out. So, some people, this one's color coded because some people actually, are drawn more to the color or experience emotions and colors interchangeably. So, if you're one of those rare folks, then, use it in that way. Um, but what's really important is to begin to check in. So first we might check in and say, oh, I feel like the world is against me. And we can recognize when we're using a phrase like that, we're not actually using one of these feeling wheels. So we're actually talking about a thought based on how we're feeling. So we might pull out a feeling wheel and say, if I'm feeling like the world is against me, what emotion word really strikes a chord when I look at this? And so then I might encourage you to kind of sit and look at the feeling wheel and see which kind of has resonance within you. And when I say has resonance, it's like it fits, it lands, and you say I feel, and then you might try some out. I feel stressed. Okay, there's a feeling word. Or I feel bitter or mad or provoked. And then we're getting to the real meat of an emotion. Um, it sounds easy, but it's not. This is actually something that is a practice that really does need to be cultivated, especially for individuals who haven't been raised with emotional coaching, parenting, or like emotional intelligence and that sort of parenting that validates and names your emotions for you. So for many people, this may be like a starting point, but it also may be a point where you have to build capacity to start to develop that awareness of feeling words and also the associated physical characteristics or physiology or physical sensations that coincide with an emotion. So that's where we start to go kind of with the next level of how do you know, what differentiates mad from happy, from sad and disappointed. And there are actually physical cues in our body that we can start to pay attention to in naming, but then processing our emotions. And I think I'll leave it there for today. But I do encourage everybody to kind of hop onto Google, look at the different feeling or emotion wheels that are available. Some actually take it to that next level where they're incorporating physical sensations. So if you're at that sort of level where you've got a pretty good kind of foundational capacity of feeling vocabulary and identifying what I'm feeling, and maybe you take it to that next level and start to pay attention to, okay, what are the physical sensations that are coinciding with this for me. And then, in a future video, we'll see where we go from there with what do you do with it then? Okay.